She was just a mother boarding a flight with her baby, calm, quiet, and minding her business. But when a flight attendant slapped her in front of everyone, the cabin went silent, until one chilling fact emerged: her husband owns the entire airline. Imagine being humiliated in front of an entire plane while holding your newborn, simply because someone assumed you didn't belong. Now imagine the shock on their face when they realize your husband owns the airline. This isn't just a story about disrespect. It's a lesson in why you should never judge someone by their appearance. What happened on Flight 482 will leave you speechless. It was supposed to be just another first-class flight, a simple journey from New York to Los Angeles. But for one black woman traveling with her infant daughter, the flight turned into a humiliating and unforgettable experience, until the truth came out, flipping the situation entirely and shocking the entire cabin crew. A soft-spoken woman named Camille boarded Flight 482 with her 6-month-old baby girl nestled in her arms. Dressed elegantly but modestly in a soft beige blazer and flats, she tried to keep a low profile. No flashy jewelry, no designer labels, no entourage. Just a tired mother, clearly exhausted from the demands of parenting and travel. She politely handed over her ticket, smiled at the attendant, and walked toward her seat in first class. And that's when the trouble began. The moment she sat down, the flight attendant on duty, a woman named Stacy, gave her a long, cold stare. Stacy, who had been working with the airline for over a decade, had her own opinions about who deserved to be in first class. And in her eyes, Camille didn't fit the mold. Without even checking her ticket properly, Stacy assumed she was in the wrong section. "What are you doing here?" she snapped, not even bothering to lower her voice. "This section is for first-class passengers only." Camille, startled but calm, responded softly, "I have a first-class ticket, seat 2A." But Stacy didn't back down. "Let me see it." Camille reached into her purse with one hand, trying not to wake her baby who had just fallen asleep, and handed over the ticket. Stacy took one look at it and, instead of apologizing, rolled her eyes. She muttered, tossing the ticket back onto Camille's lap. "Well, don't expect special treatment. We have rules here." Camille nodded quietly. She didn't argue. She didn't make a scene. She just turned her attention to her baby and rocked her gently. But things only got worse. 30 minutes into the flight, the baby began to cry. Not loudly, just the soft whimper of a hungry child. Camille took out a small bottle and began to feed her. But apparently, even that was too much for Stacy. Marching down the aisle, Stacy stood over Camille and said, "You need to control your child. People paid good money to sit here in peace." Camille apologized again and tried to soothe her daughter. But Stacy didn't leave. She hovered, clearly annoyed. And then, in a moment that stunned everyone nearby, Stacy reached over to grab Camille's bottle, yelling, "You can't feed her here. You need to go to the back." The sudden move startled Camille and caused the bottle to spill. The baby began to cry louder. And then, without warning, Stacy slapped Camille's hand and shouted, "Enough!" Gasps filled the cabin. A man sitting across the aisle stood up immediately, shouting, "You don't touch her!" Camille sat frozen, tears in her eyes, trying to protect her crying child. But that's when the tide began to turn. Another flight attendant ran over, whispering urgently into Stacy's ear. Her face went pale. You see, what Stacy didn't know, what she hadn't bothered to find out, was that Camille wasn't just any passenger. She was Camille Thompson, the wife of David Thompson, the billionaire CEO and majority shareholder of the very airline they were flying on. Not only was she entitled to that first-class seat, she practically owned it. Within minutes, the pilot had been notified. A call had already gone through to the airline's headquarters. And by the time the plane landed in Los Angeles, company executives were already waiting at the gate. Stacy was escorted off the aircraft immediately and placed on unpaid suspension pending investigation. Passengers were given statements to sign, several of whom offered to testify on Camille's behalf without hesitation. And within 48 hours, a formal apology was issued by the airline, a very public, very humbling apology. But Camille? She didn't demand anything. She didn't even want the spotlight. Her only statement was brief. No matter who I am married to, no woman, no mother should be treated this way. Her quiet strength, her dignity in the face of blatant discrimination won the hearts of millions as the story went viral online. People from around the world praised her for her grace and slammed the airline for allowing such behavior to occur in the first place. Stacy, for her part, later admitted she had made assumptions. She said she was under stress and misread the situation. But it was too little, too late. This story became a reminder that prejudice often hides behind professionalism, and that power doesn't always wear a suit and tie. Sometimes it travels with a bottle in one hand and a baby in the other. And as for Camille and her family, let's just say next time they fly, there's no need for a ticket. In the end, it wasn't loud outrage or revenge that changed everything. It was quiet dignity, calm strength, and one shocking truth. Camille didn't ask for power. She just asked for respect. And sometimes the most powerful people are the ones who never have to say a word. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real stories that reveal the truth behind everyday injustice.